I remember being at a drug dealer's house, watching him make crack cocaine and following him step by step, thinking that if I could just learn how to do this, then my daddy will be proud of me.
Little Kim Hamilton was starved for her dad's attention. He battled a drug addiction and often disappeared for days on end.
I loved him so much, and it hurt me so deeply that he didn't bother to come home. And so somehow I equated that with not having value in his eyes.
Kim grew up in a rough neighborhood in Richmond, Virginia, but she had a talent that would eventually take her around the world.
I just flipped around on the sidewalks every day, all day long, taught myself how to do several, pretty tough skills, and that's how it began.
Kim's dream was born in front of the television.
I was actually watching the Olympics when Nadia Comaneci was competing, and I looked at her and I said, hey, I can do that.
And she did. Kim eventually learned to fly.
Things were hard for you growing up, so how did your family afford training for you?
You know what? We came up with some very innovative ways, I will say. One of the things we did was we cleaned up the gym after practice.
Kim and her parents scraped up money by working the coat check stand at a nightclub.
They would clear the dance floor about midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I would perform my floor routine in the middle of the floor under a disco ball.
Her amateur skills impressed her coaches. It was the start of a spectacular career.
And Kim Hamilton prayerfully giving thanks for a good score of a 9.80.
The petite powerhouse from the streets of Richmond made history by becoming the first African-American woman to be recruited and awarded a gymnastics scholarship to UCLA. She later earned a spot in the UCLA Hall of Fame. Still, the pain of her childhood gnawed at Kim. She experimented with drugs, but mandatory drug testing at UCLA put a stop to that. Even gymnastics success meant little to her.
The summer after my freshman year at UCLA, I had just won my first national championship title. I went back home and I was hanging out with some of my friends, and all of a sudden I heard this screaming and yelling coming up behind me. So I turned around only to find myself staring down the barrel of a gun. And behind that gun was an angry young man. I just remember him having it close to my head, telling me that he was going to shoot me. I just looked at him and I flicked my hands and I walked away. But I walked away thinking, you know what, there just has to be more to life than this.
Staring death in the face changed Kim's life. She began questioning her purpose. When she returned to UCLA that fall, she met the man who would give her an answer. His name was Corwin Anthony. He was on the UCLA football team.
I had just committed my life to Christ, and I knew that meant walking completely with him, giving up everything. I was afraid that if I started acting too much like a Christian, she would reject me. I didn't realize that that was the best thing I could have done.
He shared with me that God loved me and had a plan for my life, and I had never heard that before. I had never heard it, but I knew that that is exactly what I needed at the time. I ended up praying, and I asked Jesus to come into my heart and make me the person that he wanted me to be.
She got that love through her relationship with Jesus. God has healed many of Kim's emotional wounds, and through his love, she has found the power to forgive her dad.
I forgive him for everything that he's done in the past.
Kim and Corwin's careers converged right here in southern Florida. With a love for God and a passion for sports, they carved out the perfect career as co-chaplains for the Miami Dolphins.
Together, she and her husband coach couples on how to grow in their faith and in marriage. Each week, Kim leads a Bible study for the Miami Dolphins wives. But the ministry closest to her heart is at home, as a wife and mother.
Before I came to know Christ, I was really searching for value. And what I've discovered in my latter years is that actually I was searching for the love of a father. I was searching for that father's love that gives you that sense of security, that gives you that sense of self-worth, that value that will never change.
Looking for a father, affirming, giving you a sense of self-worth. How many young women